Hey guys, so I've added in now those additional supports that I mentioned at the end of the previous tutorial. So you should have now a model that looks something like this. It's starting to look rather now like the base of the lunar module there. Now on all, I think it's on 4 sides, we have this object which is called a plume deflector. And this plume deflector will be on all of these long sides. So we need 4 of those. But again, we'll just be able to model one, and we can then just copy it to the other side. So we're going to start off by creating a frame for that. So the frame for this plume deflector is, again, triangular bracings. So we're going to use tubes again. We'll create a cylinder, and we're going to need to scale this down pretty small. We'll go to a top view, and I'm going to model this one on this front edge here. So just going to start around there, drag it down. Okay, I'm going to scale down a little bit more. So start around there. Now let's go to a front view. We can rotate this on the y-axis around 45 degrees. Then we can scale it up like so. So we've got normal selected here, so we're dragging everything around its normal axis. I'm going to scale it down again. This just needs to be quite thin. Don't want it to be too chunky. Scale up. And it's going to need to reach this blue line here, which is our midpoint. Almost there. Okay. Now we have that. We'll add a mirror modifier. Our mirror object will be the base, and it mirrors over to the other side for us. So that saves us a little bit of work. Tap back into edit mode. Sorry, I need to go into edit mode. We just need to scale. Here again, a little bit bigger, so that everything just about meets up. Like so. Okay, and then it's actually going to stick forwards just a little bit, so we'll rotate a little bit on the z-axis. Like that. Then we'll bring everything forwards like so. Okay. Now we've done that, we just need to then create 2 more triangles, which are going to come out here and join up, which are going to support this scoop that comes on there. So there's these 2 triangular braces here on either side. So what I'm going to do is Shift and D to duplicate this. I'm going to scale this one. No, I'm just going to move it out here. This one then needs to rotate on the z-axis a little bit more, like so. It's going to start from about the same area. So then we're going to want to rotate these inwards and downwards. It's a lower angled triangle than before. Scale actually will stay the same because it's still going to meet in the middle. Scale it down. Okay, line everything up there. All right. So the global, drag it back. Rotate it outwards a little bit. And there we go. Okay, so just a small amount of scaling needs to be done. So these should almost join, but not quite. There's going to be a flat, you know, another one of these box joints that kind of joins everything together there. And these are also narrower, so I'm going to scale everything down to make it a lot thinner. Bring that up. Now rotate all of this down. It should be pointing downwards slightly. Like that. Okay. Probably want to rotate a little bit more. All right. Shift and D to duplicate. Go to global. We'll drag this down. Now what we need to do actually is rotate this in the opposite direction until it's basically a mirror, but going the other way, like that. That basically completes this bracing here. So I'll just move that down a little bit. Actually, I'm going to move it up. And we'll move these inwards. I'll move this one inwards. Okay, and then we will put in the kind of box, like what we had there, these box joints, join everything up. So we also then need to create this scoop area, which we'll do in a moment, but we'll finish off doing these. So create a box, cube, which will scale down. Tab into edit mode, face select, grab a hold of this top face, which we're going to drag upwards, and the bottom face, which we'll bring down. And then drag everything across, back a little. So it just covers everything there. Okay. Tab out of edit mode. bring all of these a little bit forwards, so we can bring the box inwards. So it should just sit just proud, not too much, just a little bit out. And then in edit mode we can put in a loop cut. Get hold of this face and extrude it out. Covers about half of the top there. And then another loop cut at the bottom. Again, I'll grab this face and extrude it out. Move this back. Into place. Okay. Finally then, we need to do the box which covers this area here and the top. So create a new cube object, scale it all the way down, scale up a little bit on the Z, scale out on the X, bring it back so it encases everything. Okay, and then Shift D, drag that same one down to here, just to kind of enclose that area. Anyway, you're not going to see these because they're going to be hidden behind the actual kind of dish which sits on top of this, which is the heat, what is it called, plume deflector. So that's what we're going to make next, sit on top of here. So what I do first of all though is grab all of these. I'm going to apply this mirror modifier, apply this mirror modifier, and apply this mirror modifier here. This we're going to duplicate, Shift D, enter, drag it over to the other side, so same on both sides. And then we'll go around and select all these bits and we'll join them together into one. Okay, so for the deflector, it's this curved kind of shape. Create a cylinder with no end caps. Scale this down. Tab into edit mode. And we're going to want to get rid of most of the faces. So what we're going to actually do is just deselect the faces that we want to keep, which is not going to be many. Probably just those. Delete the rest of the faces. Edge select, Shift and Alt. Scale this, because you can see the shape of it is tapered. That's basically it. The only other thing we're going to do then is add a solidify modifier. Make it all a little bit thicker. Turn on smooth shading. And then we just have to position this. And we're probably going to need to do a little bit of scaling on it, a little bit of adjustments, so go to the front view, line it up, tab into edit mode, edge select. We're just going to grab this bottom edge, drag it out, scale it up, and we'll bring it out forwards like so. This top edge, we'll drag back. So it just sits on this mounting bracket. And the same with the bottom one. You want to make sure you got none of the bracket poking through. So there, like that. So there's our heat deflector. Tab back out of edit mode, and then the only thing I want to do then is, it's just minor, but grab hold of this bottom edge and bring that out so it sits. So it really looks like the dish is really clamped onto it. And we'll do the same then at this bottom edge here. Like so. Tap back out of edit mode. Okay, now I'm going to put a subsurf modifier on this. And also edge split. Actually, before the subdivision surface, I'm going to apply the solidify modifier. Then I'm going to add an edge split, and then I'm going to add a subdivision surface. And you can see we have a problem with the edge split at the bottom there. So rather than an edge split, what we can do instead to tighten up these edges is put a loop cut in. Sometimes the subsurf modifier will give you a little bit of trouble. It causes the edges to actually open up, so that is a better finish. Okay, and we can join, actually no, I'm not going to join that. I'm just going to change this to the LM flare deflector bracket. Look at an actual picture. Flare deflector is a silvery color. Okay, and then this will be the LM flare deflector. So the flare deflector bracket, add a modifier to this, mirror object, lunar module base, X and Y. Same with the flare deflector. Add modifier, mirror object, lunar module base, and on the y-axis. Turn off the X. We just want the mirror on the Y, and that gives it on either side. Now we also need it over here as well. So to do that, we will Shift and D to duplicate our flare deflector bracket. Oops. Then we will rotate Z-axis -90. I'll move this into position. Which will be here. Now we're going to mirror on the x-axis instead. Top view. Let's just position this correctly. There we go. So now we have it on both sides there. Let's do the same with the deflector. Shift and D to duplicate. Drag it out. We're going to mirror on the x-axis instead. Rotate on the Z, minus 90. And then drag it into position. Like so. Okay. So we're pretty much covered now for a lot of the lunar module base here. We just got a few details to do. Some ladders, there's some gas tanks that need to go on here. But the basic shape down here now of our lunar module base is looking pretty good. We'll soon be ready to move on to the top part. So we just got some ladders to add in. So I'm going to model some ladders in the next tutorial. And a few other small details that we need to pick out. But other than that, this is starting to look very much like the Apollo 11 Lunar Landing module. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video if you found this useful. And check out the link at the bottom in the description where you can download the project files that we're using.